What's going on, guys? My name's DJ, and I'm back with my Frostblades build for comparison after the 2.6 update has dropped. Now there's quite a bit that's changed. In fact, just looking here, the DPS for Frostblades actually almost doubled, just sitting here without any frenzy charges or onslaught or anything. So before it was 23,000, now it's 44,000. So we'll go over everything just to see how that happened. But first we're going to start with the links. Now I have changed my setup quite a bit. We'll start with Frostblades. I actually have removed the critical strike damage gem out of the link setup and put the critical strike chance support gem because I didn't feel like my crit strike chance was high enough to justify the damage gem being in there. I actually did take out Fortify because my survivability has gotten up quite a bit. So I took out Fortify and put in the weapon elemental damage support gem, and I took out Hypothermia for reasons we'll get into in a second, and I put in faster attacks. So these two is mainly what increased the DPS on this setup, really. Now we'll look at the single target damage that I have going on. So I am still using dual strike. So I have dual strike supported with I went with multi-strike instead of added fire. I have added cold and increased critical strike chance as well on that. Now something else that's interesting is I've taken out the Ancestral Warchief totem, and I've opted to use Frost Bomb. As it adds a cold resistance reduction in an area for a little bit, and I have it hooked up to increased duration as well as Val Haste. I have Hatred sitting in here too, but it doesn't really need to be supported by anything. So over here I still have my Ice Golem with minion life, added fire damage, and reduced mana. Over here I have Herald of Ice. Now I actually have linked Herald of Ice to Curse on Hit and Frostbite. So how that works is when Herald of Ice makes an enemy explode, that explosion hits enemies around that, and those enemies get the Frostbite curse on them. So it helps clear packs a lot faster, actually. And then over here I have Whirling Blades with faster attacks, and I'm actually using Blood Rage now as well. Now my gear has changed a little bit, mostly just this amulet. This amulet is one that I was using before, which had fire resistance crafted onto it, and some extra lightning and physical damage. Now this has physical damage as well, but it's very, very low amount, but it has all elemental resistance and lightning resistance, and I crafted extra life on it. So my all resistance has gone up a bit, but because of that my fire resistance has gone down just a little bit. Alright, so we're going to look at again the skill tree next. So a lot has changed. This is probably the biggest change to the 2.6 update is the ranger area of the tree. So we're going to look at the brand new shiny elemental damage wheel that they added. So going up the right side, you actually get increased elemental damage and 5% chance to freeze, shock, and ignite in 2 nodes. So that's 10% chance to freeze on our build, which is the reason I took out the Hypothermia gem, because I'm sitting at 30% chance to freeze, 10% for each claw, and then 10% here. So I don't really see a reason for 30%. I don't see a reason for you to need any more than 30% on this build. And then over here we have the flash freeze. The flash freeze nodes have now had weapon cold damage nodes added, but this converts physical damage to cold damage, 20% per node, so that's 40% just from those 2 nodes, and they increased Frostblade's conversion from physical to cold from 40% to 60%. So with Frostblades and these 2 nodes, we actually have 100% of our physical damage converted to cold damage now. Of course, the only downside of that is you're going to be dying from Reflect a lot. But over here we do have 10% reduced reflected elemental damage taken. That can be stacked with a couple interesting unique items as well, and I'll get into that in a second. Now, I did remove acrobatics and phase acrobatics because with my increased life pool and my armor, I didn't really see a need for these at all. It just made pathing up here a lot easier, got extra life nodes with the new and improved Revenge of the Hunted wheel. So I really didn't see a need for that at all. Up here we do have the Claws of the Pride node has been reduced to 3 nodes, or cluster, sorry, has been reduced to 3 nodes, and it's just much more efficient now. So we have increased crit strike chance and multiplier, along with accuracy and physical damage, all in the same node. That's very nice. Now coming over here, the improved claw node or claw cluster as well. Soulraker is amazing now. 0.8% of attack damage leached as mana, which is 0.4% higher than this one, which I was using before for my mana leech, so I don't need to use that anymore. This is all crit stuff up here on the way to this, so again, I didn't. It's just become very efficient wheel to spec into for claws. I took off Blood Drinker again because Soulraker has more life leech than it. I didn't really see a need for that as well. And then again, the Revenge of the Hunted wheel has been improved again from a 4% increased max life to 8% increased max life. And this, which was in the plan for the build, Claws of the Falcon, has had its crit strike chance increase as well as its accuracy, I believe. So all in all, the tree has become much more efficient and has made cold a lot more powerful. Now, there was a threshold jewel for Frostblades added. I'll throw up a picture of it if I can figure out how to edit that in. But there was a threshold jewel for Frostblades added called Fight for Survival. Now, this threshold jewel adds 10 to 15% just increased cold damage, and with 40 dexterity in radius, gives you 15% cold penetration and 25% projectile speed, and you're limited to 2 of those. So if you have, if you can fit 2 jewels into your build, one is definitely going to go right here. You will be getting 20 to 30% increased cold damage, 30% increased cold penetration, and 50% increased projectile speed. So all in all, pretty solid jewel for Frostblades. I'm not disappointed in that at all. Now, this I have a couple uniques here that I want to go over. These are some interesting uniques. A couple of them have been changed in 2.6. Definitely stuff that you might want to look out for. Now, if you're having trouble with Elemental Reflect, even after the 10% reduction, Sybil's Lament is a great ring to help you mitigate that. So, let's see. So this is the old one, which has 30% reduced reflected elemental damage taken when socketed in the left ring slot. Now that has actually been increased to 40%, so paired with the 10% reduction here, so you get 50% reduced elemental damage taken as reflected damage. Now Southbound has been improved as well. Southbound now increases Herald of Ice's damage by 50%. It's just the explosion of damage, so if your Herald of Ice is doing quite a bit of damage, maybe you've spec'd into some extra cold damage or area of effect skill damage, definitely Southbound is a good idea, but again, it's just armor evasion. There is no armor energy shield. There is no evasion on this, and your hits can only kill frozen enemies, so I would want to run probably run hypothermia would be a good idea, or somehow increase your chance to freeze, maybe with Thessalio's sign, which has also been buffed as well. So they buffed their Thessalio's sign, which is a ring, freeze chance from 5% to 10%, and added extra damage against chilled enemies instead of frozen enemies. So definitely a solid choice as well. Again, if you can handle it only being cold resistance. And then, of course, the Star of Rayclast, which is an amazing amulet. There is another amulet that I believe was from Breach that had an upgrade to it that increased cold damage. Not really sure what it's called. I'll maybe put a couple pictures up on the screen just to show you what it is. I heard that was a good choice as well. But I personally like Star of Rayclast mostly for its movement ability and the chilled ground. The chilled ground just helps so much when trying to fight large packs of strong enemies. I'm actually working on getting Star of Rayclast right now. I'm leveling a lightning warp gem to do that. Now before I forget, another unique that you want to look out for, the Darkray Vector's Dragon Scale Boots has actually had its reduced frenzy charge duration reduced from 50% to 40%. So definitely a solid pair of DPS boots if you can handle it only having lightning resistance. So definitely another really solid unique to look out for. Now those are the only changes and improvements that I could see with this build. Again, I do want to thank you for watching and for wasting your time with me today. Now I should have another video up probably again on the weekend. I figure that my upload schedule is probably going to be sometime middle of the week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, and then on the weekend could be anywhere between Friday and Sunday. I'm trying to get my upload schedule figured out, but for now that's just what it's going to be. Again, just thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that may be. I'm actually just going to end this with a little bit of gameplay so you can see how the build functions.
Not up to that just yet. Over here, Exile.